And welcome to Nancy's Neighborhood, folks, and it's great to have you here. And I have a whole bunch of people with me today for this first part of the show, which is awesome, 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 because we're going to talk about a school project that is just going to be so good. So this is Mrs. Lindsay Bell, and she is the drama coach, but also, what else do you teach at Bradley?
That's all I teach.
That's all you do is.
That is all I teach.
How exciting.
It's wonderful. I think I'm the only person lucky enough to be able to say that in this town. I think Don Markham at Cleveland was switching over to all drama at some point, but
I think that's
I teach
awesome.
all
And of
theater.
course, everybody that knows me knows how I feel about the arts.
Yes.
So if we can have a drama teacher, coach, however we want to do it at each of our schools, I am thrilled.
Yes.
So we have something exciting going to happen. It's starting next weekend.
It is. It's
Okay,
starting,
let's talk about it.
Okay, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday
Okay.
of next week, and then the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the next week as
Okay,
well.
okay.
And the times are on Thursday nights we do 7 o'clock, on Friday nights we do 7 o'clock, and then Saturday and Sunday are both 2 p.m. matinees.
Oh, okay.
And there's a special trick or treat show on. I believe it's it's the first Saturday, so I think that's 26, 27, 28.
27, 28,
28.
27, 28. Yes, one of those.
The 28th.
Yeah.
The 28th. So yeah.
And I am excited about this because I have seen the last two performances. One was rock and roll.
Yes.
And
Rock of Ages.
It was Rock of Ages, and it was really good. And then the spring one was Shakespeare.
Yes, we did Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, and it was
And
so
I
good.
totally forgot to tell you what we're doing this time.
Oh, that's what we're going to get to that because I want you to tell them.
It's called Cinders and Ella. I bet your audience can gather what it's about. There's a girl who's mistreated by a stepmother and stepsisters, and it's basically a retelling of the fairy tale Cinderella. So,
But some of you folks may not know out there, when you do a play, if you do Cinderella, you're going to have to pay royalties.
you have to pay royalties on everything.
And then they're expensive.
Oh, yes, and that's what made me decide to do this.
So Mrs. Bell has written this play.
I did.
And I think that's what's going to make it interesting because I have known Lindsay since she was like 2-3 feet tall, running around on the side of the tennis court while her mother and I were playing tennis.
Indeed.
So I've known her long enough to know that this is going to be very unique.
I hope so. I feel like it is. You know, I knew I wanted to do a fairy tale. I knew I wanted to do something that would bring in a large amount of kids and generate a lot of attention. I love using Tria Montgomery and her studio and her dancers, but I applied for the rights to the Rodgers and Hammerstein version of Cinderella, and they came back with a quote of $3,100 to perform it, which is actually about average.
Yeah, but for a school play, that's
It's average
steep.
for school. Oh,
I
yeah.
know, but that's steep.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, forget it. I'll just write it myself. You know, I know the story. And
We all know the story. Okay.
yeah, and so we had a summer camp this summer and had a bunch of kids. And so I kind of started with a very small children's version of the play and kind of played around with the characters a little bit. And then as when that closed, that was in June. And when we finished doing that, I just turned around and went back in and started adding and adding and adding. And so I wrote it in 2 months. And so, yeah, it's Cinders and Ella.
And I think it sounds great. Now we have two people here that are starring in the production. Do you want to introduce them to us?
Well, this is Courtney Miller, and if you've been to any of my productions, you've seen Courtney. She's basically my go-to leading lady. She played Juliet in
Did an
Romeo and
awesome
Juliet.
job. Did an awesome job.
She
with
sure
that.
did. She was phenomenal. And then this is Zach Souter, and this is Zach's first show he's ever done for us, and he's amazing.
That is great,
So-
Zach. I'm proud of you. Okay, so like rehearsing, how much time have you all spent getting ready for this?
We started in September, was it? And every day after school, we have rehearsal from 4 to 7. And then on Saturdays and Sundays, we have rehearsal from 1 to 4.
Wow. Okay, you shared something with me as we were coming in the studio, which I thought was amazing because I saw Shakespeare and I was bragging on how you all knew all those lines from Shakespeare and how you memorized them and projected them like you did. And you all did it with emotion on the parts that should have been. I mean, it was really well done. And you said that was easier.
It was.
Then
It was
Cinders and
easier
Ella.
to learn the Shakespeare lines than it is to learn Miss Lindsay's lines. I don't know.
I
have
contend that
trouble.
it's because Shakespeare's better, but she said because it's poetry, and that I understand. You know, it's written in iambic pentameter. There's 10 syllables per line, and especially when you get into some of the more intense scenes, they rhyme, and so you have rhyming couplets, and so I can imagine that it's somewhat easier to memorize. Plus, we ran that at about an hour 45, and right now this one's running 2 hours, so
Okay.
there's more material.
Okay, well, but that just amazed me when she said that because I thought, no, not memorizing Shakespeare. No, no, no. Well, Zach, what's your feeling on this since this is your first trip out?
It's very interesting.
Say
It's
it.
crazy the amount of effort that everyone puts into everything that they do and the amount of time that they give, and it's just amazing to me being a first timer.
I think this is awesome. Now, let me be sure everybody understands. This is Bradley Central High School,
Yes, it is.
and y'all are called Drama Central.
We are.
And I think that is awesome also. So this production will be at the Bradley Fine Arts.
It will. It'll be at the Fine Arts Center. And we actually, when we left people who were in there painting and drilling and hammering and doing hair and costume. And so it's getting crazy right
Already.
now. It is. But yes, it's at the Bradley Central Fine Arts Center. And the tickets are $12 general admission, which is actually very inexpensive for live theater, and $8 for senior citizens.
Oh, good. I qualify. Okay. Very good.
So does mom, so she's
Yes,
excited about that.
I know. Yes, your mom and I qualify. Okay. But I think this is so amazing. So do you normally do 2 performances a year?
We do, yes. And I used to only do one weekend of a show.
Mm-hmm.
But when you rehearse for 6 weeks and you put in that amount of time, the effort that goes into it should at least, I think, balance out the reward, or the reward should balance out the effort. And so, you know, the very first show that we did was West Side Story, and then the next year we did, I want to say Footloose, and as we kept going, I kept thinking, we've got to add more shit. This is ridiculous. And so now it's like they get a more of a professional experience in terms of a show will grow
Yes.
so much from like the first time you do it to the last show you do it. It becomes a different show. And so I think that's very important for them to learn. And of course, we also have a school show where the little kids come and see it.
And I think
so.
that's exciting too. And I think if anybody wants to do this just for fun, go to the first performance and then go to the last performance, and you'll see what Lindsay's talking about, because it becomes its own creation.
It does. It does.
And it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how that works. But what I'm so thrilled with is the fact that we actually do drama in our schools.
Absolutely.
Because, like I say, I'm so into the arts. And I had somebody talk to me the other day about a STEM plant, and I said, is it a STEAM plant or a STEM plant? If it has arts involved, I'll talk to you about it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to talk to you about it because I don't care about math and science. That's just me, okay? But I think it's awesome. So, and I also think it's great that you're doing as many performances as you are, because Cleveland is such a small place, even though it is growing. But it's like there's something, I know I already have something for the 27th, I have something for the 28th, I have something for the 29th. That pretty much wipes out that weekend for me.
Yep.
And so then I can go the next weekend, but now you're going to do it Thursday, Friday,
We do
Saturday,
Thursday,
Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
7, 7, 2, and 2.
2
And my brother Alan he calls it Broadway Light. He says he likes to go to the Bistro, which is his version of Sardi's in Cleveland. And they go there, and then they come over and they watch a little Broadway Light, and then they go to the Bistro after and debrief. And after Romeo and Juliet, when he and Kelly came to see the show, he said, "Hey, meet us at the Bistro," and I was like, "Okay." And so I ran over there, and we got one of their pizzas and split it and just sat and talked about. And he just, you know, Alan goes and sees all kinds
I
of shows
know.
everywhere. And so he was so interested in, you know, in who played what role and, you know, whether they were the same as they are in real life and whatever. And I have to tell a story about Courtney because I tell it every time I get the chance.
Okay.
And it's so important for people to know, especially people who are nervous about, you know, taking acting or trying. Courtney, her freshman year, was in Oklahoma, and her brother Grant was a longtime actor of mine, and he brought her because she needed a ride home. She had no intention of stepping on stage, and she was shaking to death in the front row. And I walked over to her and I said, "Walk on stage with me," and she said, "No." And I said, "Walk on stage with me," and she said, "I'm not going to do it." And I was like, "Come on." And so I got her and I walked her just across the stage behind a scene that was going on. No one was paying any attention to her. And she shook. And I finally got her to dance in that show in the background. Flash forward to her senior year, well, her junior year, where she plays Juliet. And now, you know, Ella in Cinders and Ella.
And did an awesome job as Juliet. I have to, let me digress here a little bit and talk about your brother. But your brother and I love to swap tales about Broadway because they like to go to New York. I like to go to New York. So I drug some friends up there with me. Oh, maybe it was 2 years ago. Something Rotten. Well, I saw it and I thought it was hysterical. I laughed. My two friends with me didn't think it was anywhere near as funny as I did. Well, then I see Alan about 6 months later and he said, "Oh, have you seen Something Rotten? It is so funny." So one of my friends was with me and she said, "You liked it?" So she really respects Alan's opinion of Broadway. So she said, "Well, maybe I just didn't catch it all, but it was so good that I loved it." But anyway, tell everybody again the price, the location, the times, etc. So we want everybody there.
The show is called Cinders and Ella. It delivers everything that you expect. There's shoes, a ring. There's, you know, there's not a pillow that the ring or shoe gets delivered on, but there's a prince and he's handsome and there's a queen. And so in any case, it's the ticket prices are $12 for general admission, $8 for senior citizens and children. And it is at Bradley's Fine Arts Theater, and it's Thursday and Friday of next week, 7 o'clock, and 2 and 2 on Saturday and Sunday. And then we flip it around and do the exact same thing the next weekend, 7, 7, 2, and 2.
Fantastic. And folks, I promise you that it'll be wonderful.
And it is a musical.
And I've not seen Cinders and Ella, but I have seen 2 previous productions that they did, and they were awesome.
Thank you.
And you do such a good job,
Thank
gal. I
you.
mean, I don't know how you pick these young people to do these parts, but
They do all the work.
I understand. They
do
but
all
you're
the
a
work.
big cheerleader, aren't you?
I am.
And that's good.
We're Broadway Light. Broadway Central.
Drama Central. Okay. Thank you all so much for being on with
Thank
us
you for
today.
having
I really
us.
appreciate it, and I will be there. I will be there at one of
We
those
expect you there.
8 performances.
Perfect.
I will be there.
No excuse.
You have none. I will be there, and I get in for $8. That's
You get in
good.
for free.
No, I don't. No free. I need to donate because I know that there's bills.
We'll
that
take
come
your
with,
money.
Yeah, I know there's bills that come with these productions.
We'll
so
take your money.
Thank you all for being on with us today.
Thank you.
Folks. Don't go away. We're going to be right back to Nancy's Neighborhood. Now repeat with me. Watch our commercials, support our sponsors because they pay our bills, and we'll be right back.